So we're back for another Amazon Renewed review. Love doing these, they're lots of fun. If you have not seen one of these reviews before, highly recommend you check out the playlist that I'll leave either in the description or end card or something like that. These are really fun where I go on Amazon, buy an Amazon Renewed phone, usually a flagship from a couple years ago, and then kind of give you my first impressions and then later on a review. So this one's going to be the kind of unboxing experience, take a look at this phone from Amazon Renewed. Of course, we're talking about the iPhone XS. Now, interestingly, this phone was one that was requested by the comments in previous videos. And you know, I like to listen to the comments if they have a good idea, and there seem to be enough people wanting me to do the XS that I figured, why not? I actually would have rather have done a XS Max because I like the size, and I actually have an iPhone 11 Pro Max that I could have gone against it, but it's okay. Listen, I need to save a little money here. $500 for this is not too bad, but let's see if it's worth your money in 2020. Hey, that rhymed. I'm a poet and don't know it. Let's get this. Right after this!
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name is Travis and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's just get into the video. Now, I've been doing a couple Samsung phones lately. I figured it'd be a nice idea to get back to some iPhones. So the iPhone XS is next up in the Amazon Renewed series. Now, this one's kind of interesting because I buy each phone. I don't look for a specific carrier. I literally just hit the buy now. Whoever is winning the buy box is what they call it on Amazon, is who I buy it from. I do get some questions in the comments about what are the sellers and who are the sellers that I'm buying these from. I think when you think about it on eBay, it's really important to get the right seller. But to be perfectly honest, on Amazon, you really should be able to buy from anybody and it be the same. And the reason is very simple. Amazon Renewed is an actual program that Amazon is running. Unlike eBay, where they say, you know, like new or it's new or something, where they have to kind of determine, the seller itself determines what that means, Amazon actually has exact specifications for this program. So let's real quick talk about what those are. For those of you that have been through these videos before, this is going to be very familiar. Amazon Renewed is a program by which Amazon allows third-party sellers to sell renewed or refurbished, however you want to call it, products for a really good discount. Now they must meet a couple of very specific specifications, and especially in the iPhones, you have to hit one extra specification that you do not have to hit as an Android phone. They must look brand new, which is the same across all phones, and they must come with some type of accessories to charge them, which is the same. But here's the one thing that's different between iPhone and Android, and I think it's a really critical one. The battery capacity that's left in this phone needs to be at least 80% or better, which is really good. That means you're going to get really good usage. In case you didn't know, the more times you charge your phone, the less the overall capacity is. And I've said this a million times, I believe that Amazon is doing this because there's an easy way to verify that using the built-in operating system on the iPhone. Android doesn't have that. You can download apps, but for whatever reason, Amazon's not holding people's feet to the fire on that. But as part of their guarantee, 80% or better. Having said that, the one really great thing about Amazon Renewed is you get 90 days, which is more than the normal 30 days you get for something new. So in a lot of ways, this is kind of better than buying a new phone. Some people are saying in the comments, well, you get something that's used and maybe it won't last. Well, yeah, but what happens if your phone lasted 32 days when it was new and you can't return it? Then you got to go through some type of warranty process through the manufacturer. That's never a nightmare. Instead, you get 90 through Amazon with any of these. So for me, it just feels like this is a better deal. You get to save hundreds of dollars in most cases, get a great phone, which if you look at all my reviews, they've been darn good. I don't know, I kind of liked doing these videos and you guys seem to like them. The one thing that's interesting is that none of the boxes I've ever bought from Amazon are the same. Every single box has been different, but this is the first one that looks branded. This one actually says Amazon Renewed on it with the logo. Now first of all, I like it. It makes me feel better about the purchase, but I don't think Amazon is giving these companies this box. This particular company, which I don't even remember who it was, but I remember there being a card in with it, apparently does a lot of these, and they seem to be a pretty professional company. Now again, I want to be clear. A lot of people ask, what seller do you buy from? It should not matter. I literally don't look for any specific buyer. It's very possible they don't even have any more of these. So I never really make a big deal about the specific seller of of the product. I'm sorry, I think I said buyer, but seller of the product. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who I bought it from, it should be the same. Slidey. Box over there. Okay. This actually looks like perhaps an iPhone box. Lift this up. Okay. There that goes. Here we go. The iPhone XS. Now, this is the 5.8 version. I never owned this phone. The XS was one of the phones that it almost made me go to the side of Apple of actually buying an iPhone as my main phone back in 2018 when this came out. I even did a video about that. But so far, it looks okay from here, but let's just make sure everything else is in here is okay. Now, for the first time ever, and this is why you're gonna wanna know what seller this was, screen protector. I've never gotten a screen protector in with one of these phones. This is legit. They're not required to give you a screen protector or anything, but this one came with one. And also, let's see, it should just be a charger and some other things. Wow, okay. Y'all gonna want this seller for sure. This is the same charger I see everywhere, but they put in a completely retail packaged version of the Lightning cable, which if you've watched any of my other reviews, and I highly recommend you do, you'll notice that most of them are just wrapped in some little, they're like in a plastic bag or something and thrown in there. This is at least in a retail box. Shout out to this seller, whoever it is. Maybe I'll try to link to them below or something. I don't normally make a big deal about it, but these guys are pretty A1. Now, of course, the moment of truth, does it look brand new like they say? Oh, good goobly goo. This thing is absolutely spotless, beautiful, looks brand spanking new. Gonna power it on and see if I see any like pixels that may be burned out or anything like that, or even if it's juiced up. Okay, here we go, it's powering on. So this is really actually, this might be one of the best phones I've gotten so far. There's been a couple times where the phone itself that came, especially the one I got from a Verizon, I think Verizon's actually selling on Amazon site, which is kind of great, was in really great condition, but this one is in spectacular condition. All of them have been new, and look, it's fine, it looks great. I want to mention one other thing I forgot to mention before I started to tear down everything. I checked the battery capacity on this thing is at 87%. So this thing is really above and beyond what the minimum specifications are for an Amazon renewed phone. So far, very impressed. So the iPhone XS and XS Max came out the same time that they revealed the iPhone XR, which became the biggest and best selling phone of all of 2018, 2019, and probably going into 2020. And a lot of people want to know if you should upgrade to the iPhone 11 series of phones, which we're gonna find out when I put this head-to-head against my 11 Pro Max. Kind of excited about that. But so far, everything is great. Look at the pictures here. Listen, Apple is known for their incredible photography with their phones. It's just point, click, shoot, you're good to go. I do want to mention one thing. Of course, you look at the selfies here, they look fine, and it's because of the fix. Some of you may not remember the beauty gate. There were two kind of mini controversies about this phone when it was released. Number one were the selfie pictures, the beauty gate, where it would overly beautify your picture when you took a selfie. That was fixed in a software update right around the same time that another kind of weird thing popped up. And our good friend Lou from Unbox Therapy found that one too, where it wasn't charging properly, and like if you, I don't know, there was this whole thing, he did a video about how the iPhone XS wouldn't charge unless you plugged it in a certain way or something. Anyway, maybe I'll leave a link for that video in the description or something like that. Anyway, that was also fixed in a firmware upgrade. So this thing had a couple of weird fixes that they had to make pretty shortly after this thing launched. Having said that, it's on iOS 13, so none of those things are a concern. So far, so good. Performance on this thing is exactly what you would expect. It's an A12, which powers my iPad Pro, which, I mean, it's a version of the A12. And of course, that's the same processor that's in the XR, which I have and use as a secondary phone from time to time. Listen, here's the thing. They're going to be able to completely support this processor in this phone for probably at least 4, maybe 5 more years. The A12 was marked as processor level 1000, like desktop ready apparently, when they talked about the iPad Pro, super version of the A12. But the A12 is in this phone, and literally you're not gonna have any problems. I've edited 4K video on the A12. As a matter of fact, I've edited 1080p and almost 4K video on the A10 on the older iPad. Here's the thing about these phones, especially since this series came out, since the 10 and 10S and the 11s have come out. They all basically look the same. They all have OLEDs. The main difference between these, because they all get the same software upgrade, is the camera. Now, if you look at this And you see again, it's taking incredible pictures. For 500 bucks, this is a pretty good deal. Personally, I like bigger phones, but it is fitting perfectly in my hand, and I'm actually super excited about this. So far, so good. For 500 bucks, this is a great catch. Now you might be going, well, the iPhone SE just came out, and I just did a review of that, so make sure you check that out. I'll put it in the end screen and in the description below. But it's a different phone. It doesn't have as large of a screen. If you like Touch ID, that's great, but it's a different phone. And while it does have a better processor, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a better phone. Sure, it's newer, but this XS so far, I'm pretty impressed. So would I recommend this? Pretty much like most of my experiences have been on the Amazon renewed phones, yes. If you're looking for a XS, maybe you have a XS, you need to replace it or something like that, for 500 bucks, yes. Now, having said that, there are other Apple phones around that price range, so make sure you check out the link in the description below to make sure that it's the best deal possible. I mean, you might be watching this a year out, and maybe it's $400. And in that case, man, that's a heck of a deal. But what do you think? Which phone do you have? Do you have an iPhone XS or 11 or 11 Pro, or did you get the new SE? Whatever you got, let me know in the comments below. We'll talk about it. And I'm not sure what phone I'm going to do next in this series. I've bought all the phones that I want to. I'm going to do comparisons of this versus the 11 and some other versus series across the channel. So keep an eye out for those. But I'm kind of looking for some new ideas. Maybe you should leave me a comment below and watch this video right over here. See you next time.